Welcome back to Supply and Demand. Today we're going over buyers versus sellers market. Is today's market a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? You may hear one way, you may hear another way, you might not hear either way at all. But here's a hot take coming from right behind the desk in my TI-83 Plus calculator, is that I think we've hit an equilibrium. I think it is just equally as good to be a seller or a buyer in this current market. And let me explain why. Let me start on the buyer side of things. If you're purchasing a home today, interest rates are as low as 2.75%. So let me just give you an easy breakdown here. Say you bought a house at $250,000. At 2.75%, you will pay $1,200 a month on that mortgage, okay? Now that same house 1 year ago may have had an interest rate of 4.5%, and that would have been a payment of about $1,600 a month. So if you break that down over the 30-year life of that loan, you'll pay almost $71,000 more if you bought that house 1 year ago at 4.5%, or if you would have bought it today at 2.75%, you would have saved that amount of money over the life. Now, from the seller's perspective, why would now be a good time to list? Well, I'll tell you, there's low inventory and there's more buyers than ever because the interest rates are so low and people can afford more house than they ever could before. So sellers are getting what they want for their home, and if not more, if it's in a high demand area. Just to recap why I think we're in an equal market right now is because it's a great time to buy because interest rates are so low, and it's a great time to sell because there's not a lot of inventory out there and buyers can afford more home than ever and sellers are getting exactly what they want for their home. So if you're on the proverbial fence of selling, or you wanted to possibly think about moving up to a bigger house that you're in right now, in most scenarios, you could actually buy a bigger home and have the same mortgage payment that you pay right now because of how low the interest rates are and versus what you're paying in your interest rate now. So let me paint you a picture. You've always heard the expression, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, let me tell you something. You can eat that cake 7 days a week right now, okay? You're sitting downstairs, you're snuggling up against your loved one, you've got that fake fireplace going, you're drinking some red wine, and all of a sudden little Timmy and little Sally, they come running down the stairs and they want to start playing with their video games and whatnot. Boom, moment gone, you'll never get it back. Or we go ahead, we look around, we find you a bigger home with 2 basements, so you can just lock them in this cave. Don't actually lock them in the cave. Lock them over there in another room and you get to have your moment. And lastly, if none of this applies to you, if you're even still watching, a refinance could be in your future. If your interest rate is around 4%, right now would be a reasonable time to check into that with one of your local financial institution or our boy Dave from Princeton Financial who helped us out with all this information today. Thank you everybody for watching. That wraps up this episode of Supply and Demand. This is July 2020. If you have any questions about anything we've gone over here today, interested about a home appraisal by me, looking to buy a home, looking to get into real estate, just want to talk, be happy to do so. Phone number's down at the bottom, email's up at the top. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys soon.